Hey friends, my name's Alex and welcome to my new channel, Alex's Books. So I have previously had a joint YouTube channel with my two friends Beth and Blue. I will link them both. I will link them both down below. And I've very recently decided that I would like to have my own channel, and actually Beth went solo first and now has her own channel, and it kind of made me think I'd like to do the same. So here I am. This is Alex's Books, as I said, and I thought I would just start with a little introductory video. This is not the booktube newbie tag because I did that on our joint channel, so I'll leave that link down below as well if you wanted to see my answers to that. But basically I thought I would just introduce myself and talk a bit about my reading tastes, just so you can get an idea of who I am. So like I said, my name's Alex, I am 24 and I live in the UK. Just some fun, interesting facts about me that aren't really relevant, but I was actually born in New Zealand and grew up in Australia, so fun. I currently am working full-time. I work for the NHS in a hospital, so that's been fun lately. But yeah, so that does take up a lot of my time, and since starting working full-time I've found that I have less time to read, which really bums me out. But I've been kind of adjusting and making it work. And my favourite genres, let's go into that next. My absolute favourite genre is fantasy, specifically high fantasy. I've been very into young adult high fantasy all my life, and now I'm kind of growing out of it a bit, I think, and I'm getting way more into adult high fantasy. So some adult high fantasy books that I've loved are Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. This was the first Sanderson book I read and I adored it. It was so good. I was absolutely in love with it. I think it was my second favourite book that I read in the year that I read it. And then we have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This was the #1 spot the year that Elantris was #2, so this was my favourite book of that year. I loved it so much. It was so close between the two, but this one won. And I think this was the first adult high fantasy book that I read and really enjoyed, because I read Game of Thrones and I was not into it at all. Like, it took me so long because I just wasn't interested, and I thought it was adult fantasy, but because it was like the first one I ever read. But since reading this and Elantris and loving them, I think it was just that I just wasn't into Game of Thrones. Another one of my favourite high fantasy series, and this is one of my favourite series slash books of all time, this is like right up at the top of my list ever, is The Lord of the Rings. I am obsessed. I have been a fan of this series slash book slash story my whole life. My first exposure was actually the movies, but I have since read the books and I just love them so much. I love Tolkien's writing, it's amazing. So that's another one I love. I know I said I was going out of YA fantasy a bit, but I do still enjoy it, and another one of my favourite series of all time ever is YA fantasy, sort of, kind of fantasy paranormal, and that is the Shadowhunter Chronicles, obviously starting with City of Bones. I have been a massive fan of this series and this world and these books since, I don't remember when I got this copy. This is my first ever copy of City of Bones. It's like really battered, but I don't remember when I got it, but I do remember knowing of the series and knowing that I loved the series before City of Glass was released. So I have been with the series since, at least since the first two books have been out, maybe even just since the first one was out, but I can't quite remember in that much detail. This just holds such a special place in my heart. I've loved it for as long as I can remember, really, and I'm just so happy that she's writing more books in this world. My current read is actually City of Iron because I'm really behind because of work. So I also really love sci-fi. I've mainly only read YA sci-fi. I've yet to kind of venture into adult sci-fi, but I really want to because I think I will really enjoy it as well. Some sci-fi books I've loved are like Illuminate, and I really like their. It's actually just there. You can just see it behind that copy of Jane Austen. The Aurora cycle. I don't know what that series is called, but Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning. Love that series. I also love everything by Lauren James. She's an excellent author. Oh, look, there, just there as well. I'm also a massive fan of children's classics. So, two of my other favourite books of all time are children's classics, and they are The Little White Horse by Elizabeth Gouge. I think that's how you say her name. This is the Folio Society edition, and it's gorgeous. I only recently got this because I didn't know it was a thing until recently. But yes, I'm obsessed with this book. I love it so much. And then also The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This was the first book I ever remember adding to my favourites of all time list, I guess. I do not remember the first time I read this at all. I have loved this for so long. It's such a good book. I have like 7 or 8 editions of it. So yeah, favourites of all time are 4 things. So it's The Secret Garden, The Little White Horse, The Shadowhunter Chronicles, and Lord of the Rings. And then another children's classic that I really love is The Railway Children by E. Nesbit. That's such a cute story. So I do also read a bit of contemporary, but that's another thing I've been growing out of a bit. Like, I just don't enjoy contemporary as much as I used to. So I used to just love everything contemporary. Like, I mean, not literally everything. There were still books I didn't like, but any type of contemporary book I was there for. And recently I've just been like, if it's just a light, cute, fluffy romance, I'm just not interested anymore, and like there's no depth to it. Whereas if it's a story that tackles more serious or deeper issues, then I'm more interested. But even that now has started, or has stopped, even has stopped holding my interest as much. Like, I'm just not into contemporaries that much anymore at all. So that's sad, but I think I'll still read contemporaries. I don't think that'll change, but just fewer contemporaries. So you can find me a few other places. I'm on Instagram at alexsbooks_. I'm on Twitter at alexsbooks_. My blog is alexsbooks.co.uk. Where else am I? Pinterest. I think I'm Alex's Books there, but I don't quite remember. But I'll leave all these linked below anyway, so you can find me elsewhere if you would like. And I suppose I'll also just quickly tell you what I'm currently reading and what I plan to read next. So I think I already said, but I'm currently reading Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. Like I say, she's one of my favourite authors, so I read everything she ever writes, and her series set in this sort of time period, so the Infernal Devices in the Victorian era and then the Last Hours in the Edwardian era are my favourites of her series. I just love them so much, which is weird because I really don't like historical fantasy, so whatever. But yes, I'm currently reading this. I am this far through. I'm about 150 pages in. I'm really enjoying it. I am filming a vlog for this, so that should hopefully be up soon, because I hopefully want to finish this soon. And then my next read after that, I actually have my next 4 reads, and it is the Ember in the Ashes Quartet, the Ember Quartet, I don't know what this is called, but I am buddy reading this series with the lovely Beth when I finally finish Chain of Iron. So hopefully we will get to this soon. Beth and I have been buddy reading quite a few things together this year, and I found it's really helped with actually getting me to read. Buddy reads and live reading sprints on YouTube. They are saviors. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this series. These are the really beautiful Fairy Loot editions, and I love them so much. And I've been wanting to read this series for a very long time. We're both really excited to read this series, and I can't wait to buddy read it with Beth. So just a quick bit about my channel and what you can expect from it. It will mostly be book videos because that's what I love and that's what I talk about all the time. But I will probably occasionally post like an Animal Crossing video or include Animal Crossing content in my vlogs, because I'm also obsessed with Animal Crossing and I play it like all the time. I've literally got it paused on my TV right now. So you can expect books and Animal Crossing from me. In terms of what type of book videos, just, I don't know, the usual stuff probably. I do love watching vlogs. I've tried a few on the previous channel that I had with Beth and Blue, and I'm not sure how well they went or how good I was at it, but I like watching them, so I might keep doing them. But yeah, that's like a little introduction to me and my channel, and I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you subscribe. It would mean a lot to me, and I will see you at some point. I don't have a posting schedule because I don't think I'd stick to it, but I shall hopefully see you soon. Bye!